Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, Goliad County gets high-tech help to stop contraband at roadside inspections. See the device in action. Plus, local businesses team up with the Food Bank of the Golden Crescent for a special holiday mission. See how they're making a difference. And 3 men arrested for a $14 million scam that hit the Gulf Coast, and you might be a victim without knowing it.
It was another warm and spring-like day for us here in the Crossroads, and the fog is getting ready to roll back in. We'll talk about that coming up.
And Industrial Football revealed their 2025 All-District Awards from this past season. We'll highlight some of the top honors later on.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie. Don Brubaker has the night off. Texas Agriculture Commissioner is joining Goliad County law enforcement and state agriculture inspectors at a roadside truck inspection station. This happened earlier this month to see a handheld X-ray machine in action. The device lets inspectors quickly scan boxes, even truck walls, catching contraband while keeping honest trucks moving. Commissioner Sid Miller was there with Operation Lone Star and Goliad County Sheriff Roy Boyd working to protect Texas agriculture and stop illegal activity from entering the state. The technology will be featured on a new TV show called Texas Our Texas, which debuts early next year. 3 men arrested in Texas for a $14 million gift card scam that also hit the Gulf Coast. The men are accused of cloning hundreds of gift cards, stealing funds before customers could use them. They told investigators they hit up to 10 stores a day since May. All 3 now face first-degree felony charges, and authorities warned shoppers to check gift card packaging for signs of tampering. The arrests involved multiple Texas law enforcement agencies, including Garland and Dallas Police. A judge set bond at $3 million for a Texas high school student charged with murder. Police say he stabbed the 16-year-old victim to death with a pair of scissors last week during what officials say was a fight over a $21 vape pen. Michelle Choi reports.
Goose Creek CISD patrol vehicle pulled into the Harris County Jail, transferring 18-year-old Andre Matthews. Shortly after, he was moved to the Harris County Criminal Courthouse.
You are charged with murder, which is a first-degree felony.
Wearing an orange jumpsuit and handcuffed for the first time, Matthews stood before a judge, charged with murder in the death of 16-year-old Andrew Meismer, a Sterling High School sophomore. Prosecutors laid out what they allege happened inside the school Wednesday morning.
She stated that she overheard this defendant and the complainant discussing a vape THC pen, that the defendant had lost his pen and was blaming the complainant for taking it.
That's what prosecutors say a female classmate who witnessed the confrontation told officers. According to investigators, police were called out to the high school around 11:15 a.m. Meismer died from his injuries, a puncture wound to the neck less than an hour later. Prosecutors say surveillance video from school shows Matthews and Meismer together earlier that morning, later entering an empty lab classroom. Late today, the Goose Creek CISD police chief shared in a statement they believe the suspect and victim, quote, knew each other well. In court, we learned where authorities believe Matthews got the scissors used to kill Meismer.
Defendant followed the complainant to the bathroom, searched his pockets, did not find the pen, but instead found a pair of scissors on the complainant's person. He took the scissors and put them in his own waistband.
Prosecutors say the confrontation then moved back into that empty classroom. That's where they allege Matthews pulled out the scissors he had taken from Meismer and stabbed him in the neck. A classmate ran out screaming for help and a teacher rushed in.
Shortly thereafter, witness Davis stated he heard cries for help and observed this defendant holding the complainant in a chokehold with the defendant's arm around his neck. Witness Davis attempted to remove the arm from the neck of the complainant, but this defendant would not remove his arm. He observed blood coming from his neck and the complainant's body.
Today, the judge found probable cause and set Matthews' bond at $3 million. Prosecutors say they plan to ask the judge to revoke that bond under the new state 11D amendment. We spoke to Matthews' defense attorney afterward, who explained what that means.
What happened was judge basically, in an abundance of caution, since there's no case law on it, set a higher bond. Because in a few weeks, we're going to come back for that hearing, and depending on what happens there, either there will be no bond, or the bond will stay the same, or move up or down.
Matthews' bond will be revisited at his next court date, which is scheduled for January 7th. If you see news happening, call our newsroom at 361-576-0026, or send us an email to staff@crossroadstoday.com. We are dealing with fog, which is not something we typically see in the wintertime. You know, warm and humid is what causes this fog in the
Yes.
area, but it's going to be an issue this week.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's definitely a spring-like feel for this with the fog rolling in. Temperature is right around 80 degrees. That's what we're having our forecast for this week. So if we take a look at the visibility map as of right now, we have more of what you would call an advection fog. So you have warm Gulf air rolling over some cooler surface, and that cooler surface is actually the bay there, and that's why we're getting a little bit more fog there in Palacios. So the water temperature there is going to be right around 60 degrees versus the air temperature of 75 that's been rolling across there. So that's why we're starting to see fog begin to pick up here, and it's going to continue to roll in here as we progress through tonight, and that's why we have a dense fog advisory out till 10 a.m. for tomorrow. Likely to see it extended inland here, not just along the marine side of things, but more inland in our counties there for us. But this is what Future Tracker is going to be showing us. So already matching the Port Lavaca Palacios fog being picked up there, and it's going to roll on in here by 10 p.m. We're looking at very dense fog here for us over the nighttime, so make sure you use those low beams and drive carefully. And typically I would avoid trying to drive during the peak hours of this, and it's looking like 3/4 of a mile possible visibility there in the morning time, going down to about half a mile there for Victoria by 7 a.m. So fog's going to continue here for the next couple of days to about 10 a.m. We'll talk more about that as well as these warmer temperatures, and then did find a little bit of a break that we could look for in our weather pattern. Shawna?
The Food Bank of the Golden Crescent is teaming up with local businesses to make sure no one in the community goes hungry. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley sat down with the Food Bank's president to get a closer look at what it really takes to put meals on the table for those in need.
The Food Bank of the Golden Crescent is getting into the holiday spirit by working with local businesses to feed people who are hungry in the crossroads. President of the Food Bank of the Golden Crescent, Robin Cato, wants to remind people that when you think about hunger, it's not always people that you may not know, but it could be your neighbor that's hungry.
It's critical that these organizations assist and give back, and we are grateful that they do.
Cato says businesses that partner with the food bank are taking on the mission of healing the hurt of the hungry, and says she's grateful for them.
It warms my heart that many of these organizations are taking the time to help. I love what I do. As I've said before, I feel blessed to be able to do this job, and I hope to do it as long as I can.
Cato says she's appreciative of the people that work beside her and wants to continue fighting hunger one day at a time. Ray Mosley, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
America could have a brand new millionaire or billionaire before Christmas. That would be a nice Christmas gift. The Powerball jackpot rolled over again, pushing the prize to an estimated $1.6 billion. It is the fourth largest in the game's history. If someone matches all 6 numbers tonight, they can take a lump sum of about $735 million before taxes, or choose payments spread out over 30 years. The biggest Powerball ever topped $2 billion. That was back in 2022. But no matter how big the jackpot gets, the odds stay the same, about 1 in 292 million. So you have a few hours left to go get those tickets. Well, stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, millions hit the road and skies for the holidays, but severe weather and massive crowds cause major problems. Plus, lawmakers from both parties unite against the Justice Department, the high-stakes battle over withheld documents. Holiday travel is in full swing with more than 122 million people expected to hit the roads and skies from December 20th to January 1st. But as ABC's Melissa Adon shows us, a major winter storm is causing problems.
Heavy downpours leading to major flooding in the Northwest. In Redding, California, one person killed after an atmospheric river triggered dangerous flash flooding. Outside of Portland, the Clackamas River cresting at nearly 47 feet on Friday.
I looked to my right and the river was just up to the road.
The weather on the minds of millions of Americans traveling in record numbers this holiday season.
Well, just get here early and bring your patients because it's crowded.
The TSA anticipates screening more than 43 million passengers between December 19th and January 4th. It's so busy, the FAA planning on using limited military airspace if needed.
Well, I have a stop in between. There's already a delay, so that's no fun.
In Southern California, the holiday travel crush causing major delays on the freeways and at airports.
Well, we're flying to Chicago, and our flight just got delayed by an hour and a half while we were in the Uber.
Walk slow since our flight got delayed.
Out on the roads, AAA says nearly 110 million people will travel by car. That's up 2% from last year. According to Gas Buddy, the national average for a gallon of gas has fallen for the fourth straight week to $2.79 a gallon. Come Sunday, the TSA anticipates screening nearly 2.9 million people, expecting large crowds on December 27th and December 29th as travelers return from Christmas and head out for New Year's. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The Trump administration is hitting pause on all large offshore wind projects under construction, citing vague national security risks. The move could threaten thousands of jobs and slow the push for cheaper energy. Officials say turbine movement and light reflection might interfere with radar, similar to concerns that stopped new wind farms in Sweden last year. But experts say wind farm designs can easily address the issue, and the Defense Department had already signed off on every lease before construction. The Justice Department and Attorney General are under fire over the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Meanwhile, as ABC's Rena Roy reports, Senator Chuck Schumer has introduced legislation to hold the DOJ accountable.
The Trump administration facing mounting pressure over the partial release of the Department of Justice files on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer introducing legislation today in hopes of holding the Department of Justice accountable for not releasing all of the Epstein files by last Friday's deadline. That deadline mandated by the Epstein Files Transparency Act, signed by President Trump. And now the lawmakers who wrote that law say they're pursuing inherent contempt charges against Attorney General Pam Bondi for not complying with the law to release all the files. Republican Thomas Massie speaking on CBS's Face the Nation this weekend.
The quickest way, and I think most expeditious way to get justice for these victims is to bring inherent contempt against Pam Bondi, and that doesn't require going through the courts.
On Friday and into the weekend, the DOJ releasing a batch of Epstein files, the photos released without context explaining what's depicted, and several pages were heavily redacted.
They say that they are in full compliance by continuing these rollouts. They say that it was just merely impossible to be able to hand over all the files with the appropriate redactions.
Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche telling ABC News more files will be published soon, insisting the DOJ is complying with the law and the release is about protecting victims, adding there is no effort to protect President Trump after one image of him was taken down and later restored.
President Trump has certainly said from the beginning that he expects all files that can be released to be released, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Some photos released show former President Bill Clinton with Epstein, though no Epstein survivor has ever accused Clinton of wrongdoing. A Clinton spokesperson saying this is about shielding the White House from what comes next or from what they'll try and hide forever. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
To get more news, weather, and sports headlines, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com.
Well, we were near record-breaking for today at 82 degrees. It felt like 86 outside with, yes, the heat index back in our forecast. And 83 was the record there set back in 1981. We did receive 0.04 of an inch. We'll talk about slight little rain chance once again, as well as more warm weather, and then possibly some relief rolling in. We'll talk about that coming up. Well, here's a fun little house to look at. Look at all those colorful lights there. Thank you to Barbara from Victoria for sending this in. And if you want to send your house in with your decorations, go to crossroadstoday.com, hit on entertainment in the menu section, and from there you'll see a drop down where it says contests, and from there it'll lead you to directions to submit your house. And honestly, it's looking very festive for this time of the year, although the weather is not very festive at all for us here as of right now, because temperatures feeling a bit warm for us here. But we did have a couple little rain opportunities that had popped up there for us in the last 24 hours. At the airport, we got 0.04 of an inch. Relatively, what the radar picked up was around 0.02, and likely areas in Goliad as well as along the 37 corridor also receives about 0.04 of an inch as well. And it's not over just yet. We're still going to be seeing those little light showers streak across the Crossroads region, but they're very quick 2-minute showers, and if you're very lucky, you may end up seeing that come over your house. But other than that, fog's going to continue to roll in here for the nighttime tonight, as well as dense fog and cloud cover will pick up there. But by 1 p.m., we'll likely see more of that streaky light showers to pop up there. About a 10 to 20% chance for rain. Nothing very significant. And it just, if you happen to have it, it may just end up washing up your windshield here just a little bit. But other than that, we're going to continue to see the same pattern of fog rolling in, as well as cloud cover picking up with a little 10% chance for some shower activity for Wednesday, because, well, it's feeling a bit spring-like here for us, unfortunately. 81 degrees for the high, 65 for the low for tomorrow. We'll continue to see this very warm, mucky weather is what I'll call it here, because high pressure is going to sit over us here over the next 24, 48 to 72 hours here, and actually just do a little bit of a dance here for us on top of the state of Texas there. And this is where we can possibly see a little bit more cloud cover, as well as those warmer conditions continue to increase. Now, Future Tracker is starting to pull out something. We're starting to see a bit of a change here in our pattern. We're going to see the high pressure dip down there, but if we look farther north, there it is, our chance for some relief on the way down here for Saturday as it starts to make its way into Texas. And now for us, though, I'm looking at Sunday evening for it to pick up. Now, there's the front line getting picked up there around Austin, just south of the DFW area with the rain opportunity. We're likely going to be seeing some rain chances increase in our forecast as well for Sunday evening. And then it finally will push out there by hopefully Sunday night into Monday morning and bring in some colder temperatures for us. So we'll finally get back to around average for this time of the year. I'm not a big fan of where we're at right now, but it's kind of just how we're going to have to play it by ear. So light fluffy stuff going to be picked up there by 6 a.m., meaning the fog. We're not going to see any snow, but cloud cover will end up dissipating into more of a mostly sunny sky there for us with 80 degrees as the high. Port Lavaca will be a little bit on the cooler side, yet the humidity will still keep them in play there for the 70s, as well as Cuero. It's going to be a bit of a yucky start, and we'll be getting right around spring-like weather with 80 degrees. And the breeze will pick up by the afternoon time out of the south-southeast across all three cities. But I hate to show you this, but this is the next 7 days. We're seeing 80 degrees continue here through the rest of the week. And it's looking like Christmas is going to be one of the warmer days at 82. Winds will be out of the southeast. And so we're going to keep the fog in our forecast. And now the fog, if the waters warm up, the fog will disappear. But if the front makes it before the fog, or before the water warms up, that'll be our saving grace there for any more fog potential. So watching the front for Sunday evening, and that'll hopefully bring down our temperatures. And don't forget to scan the QR code for more news, weather, and sports. And here we go, Shawna.
All right, a little bit of a warm Christmas, but at least the kids can get outside and enjoy all of their new toys. So let's send it over to Max Williams now for a look at what's going on in sports.
Yeah, Shawna, we got winter break for a lot of high schools right now, but that didn't stop St. Joseph Lady Flyers girls basketball team as they had a non-district contest versus Beeville. I'll tell you how they did next in sports. With football season officially over across the high school ranks, we've highlighted multiple football schools getting top football honors from this season. One school we forgot to mention, which reached the postseason this year, was the Industrial Cobras. They went 3-8 overall, but still 3-3 in district, enough to get into the playoffs. They would lose to Blanco 48-23 in the first round, but they still received some top honors from this year. They got Special Teams Player of the Year to Mason Hunt, Archer Burnett, Fred Smith, quarterback Cooper Francis, and wide receiver Ryan Riddle, and tight end Logan Thomas were all named in second team nominations there from this past year. So congrats to all these men sending these top honors, and a great season for the Industrial Cobras. Now over to some girls high school basketball. The St. Joseph Lady Flyers faced the Beeville Lady Trojans at the Flyer Dome. This game was tight all the way through, but Beeville would prevail, winning 41-39. Senior Jordy Ybarra led the way with 20 points in the loss. And even with this game, Lady Flyers head basketball coach Eric Mercer and Ybarra highlighted how everyone on this team is dangerous to each player playing, how they want to keep being prepared during this holiday break.
So there's not one player that they can shut down. Like today was Jordy's day. You know, if you go back 2 days ago when we won the Nixon tournament, it was Bella. And, you know, or at the same day, it could have been Haley. So there's not one person that they can shut down with us.
Locker room after this game, coach said to make sure we're dribbling the basketball, we're doing layups, we're taking good shots, and we're going to have some open gyms. So we're just going to work more to get ready for district.
Now, St. Joseph girl basketball will be back in action there December 29th. So they got the week off there for Christmas break, but they'll be a McMullen tournament. They'll start the 29th and 30th, and then they'll get ready for district play after that. Now, another high school basketball game happened at Cuero High School with the men's basketball team winning 73-27 over Sinton. And now the Gobblers heading into the winter break with some momentum. They won't be back until the Giddings tournament. That will be the same there as St. Joe was, December 29th through the 30th. Over to the NBA, where the Houston Rockets battled the Sacramento Kings there last night, and they lost a nail-biter in overtime, 125-124. The Rockets got major production from Alfred Şengün, had 28 points and 6 rebounds, and Kevin Durant added with a double-double, 24 points and 10 rebounds. And they're going to be back in action tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. in playing the Clippers before they face the Lakers on Christmas night. That'll be at 7 p.m. right here on KVU TV. And finally, even though the Chiefs are officially eliminated from the postseason, a couple years now, they're going to be relocating to a new stadium outside of, again, the Missouri side, which, again, I saw in person and everything else. And guess what? Now they're going to be going to the Kansas side in 2031. Arrowhead Stadium has been the home of the Chiefs since 1972, and that's going to end here in 6 years' time. So if you Chiefs fans up there, you know, even though if it's Texans going to go up there, possibly Cowboys in the future, well, a couple years' time, they're going to be out there in the Kansas side. So again, props up for everything for the Chiefs. That's going to do it here in sports. Shawna, back to you.
Well, stay with us. Coming up next, hundreds gather at the Lincoln Memorial for an unusual funeral, mourning something that's been around for more than 2 centuries. Hundreds gathered near the Lincoln Memorial this weekend to mourn the penny. The U.S. Mint stopped production last month after 232 years. The Trump administration ordered the stop due to cost inefficiency. Mourners held a solemn procession with some dressed as Abraham Lincoln and Mary Todd Lincoln. Participants expressed concern about the future of other coins as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they were dressed in black, full mourning.
It's like,
it's the end. No more pennies.
Yeah, that's wild.
Hopefully
to think
they'll
about,
still
for real.
circulate for a little while, though.
probably will.
I mean, I would think. Yeah,
They'll
there's
be
got to be
hanging out in
enough.
my car. That's what they're going to be doing. That's where they're at right now. I'll tell you that.
Well, now a heads-up penny on the ground is going to be even more valuable.
That's true. That is true. That is true. So also that Powerball. Powerball very valuable
true,
as well.
Yeah, go out and get
up
those
there.
tickets.
What else is also powerful or very profitable is some rain, and we do have a slight little rain chance in our forecast here later within the week. It's going to be relatively on the warmer side.
All right, warm Christmas this year. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.